Everywhere you look these days, it seems like someone's trying to sell you something. On billboards, posters, stickers, elevators, gas pumps, airplanes, cups, napkins, coffee holders, wire hangers, even bathrooms. See, it used to be that when someone really wanted to sell you something, they could rely on the good old-fashioned 30-second TV spot.
He likes it! Hey, Mikey!
But thanks to the invention of this, and this,
Well, there's a revolution going on called internet.
fewer and fewer of us are actually sitting through these.
Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady.
So how's a poor, struggling, multi-million-dollar corporation supposed to let you know they even exist?
Hey, welcome to Morning Joe, brewed by Starbucks.
Oh, we do have a special guest. Excuse me, I just had a sip here of my Starbucks.
There you go.
Welcome to the brave new world of brand integration. But you may know it by its old school name,
Converse All-Stars, vintage 2004.
product placement.
You can use a Guinness.
Today, product placement is a multi-billion-dollar industry that generates hard cash for movies, creates new identities for brands, but most importantly, delivers the holy grail of marketing, co-promotion. You see, co-promotion is what takes a regular movie and turns it into a blockbuster. Take Iron Man. That movie had more than 14 brand partners. Everything from a Whiplash Whopper to Iron Man Dr. Pepper cans to Tony Stark himself driving off in an Audi commercial. These types of partnerships deliver millions of dollars of free advertising for the movie, while also raising visibility for the companies themselves. But do all these co-promotions actually work? Do they have that much influence over the choices we make? Does Shrek make me want to take a Royal Caribbean cruise, or Burger King make me want to go see Twilight? Is the only thing missing from my movie achieving Iron Man status a little co-promotion? Well, if that's true, then I can't wait to get some of that sweet Hollywood ad money. Last year, more than $412 billion was spent on marketing and advertising. And out of that $412 billion, just 4 companies controlled over 75% of it. If I'm going to make a Docbuster, it seems like these companies are a great place to start.
So what I want to do is make a film all about product placement, marketing, and advertising, where the entire film is funded by product placement, marketing, and advertising. And so the movie will be called The Greatest Movie Ever Sold. So what happens in The Greatest Movie Ever Sold is that everything from top to bottom, from start to finish, is branded from beginning to end. You know, from the above the title sponsor that you'll see in the movie, which is Brand X. Now this brand, the Qualcomm Stadium, the Staples Center, these people will be married to the film in perpetuity forever. And so the film explores this whole idea. It's what?
It's redundant.
In perpetuity forever. I'm a redundant person. Yeah. that was more for him. It was in perpetuity, period, forever. But not only are we going to have the Brand X title sponsor, but we're going to make sure we sell out every category we can in the film. So maybe we sell a shoe and it becomes the greatest shoe you ever wore, the greatest car you ever drove from the greatest movie ever sold. You know, the greatest drink you've ever had, courtesy of the greatest movie ever sold.
So the idea is beyond just showing that brands are part of your life, but actually get them to finance the film? Is that?
Get them to finance the film, and actually we show the whole process of how does it work. The goal of this whole film is transparency. You're going to see the whole thing take place in this movie. So that's the whole concept, the whole film, start to finish, and I would love for CEG to help make it happen.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, because when I first hear it, it is the ultimate respect for an audience.
I don't know how receptive people are going to be to it, though.
Do you have a perspective, or do you? I don't want to use angle because that sort of has a negative connotation. But do you sort of know how this is going to play out?
No idea.
How much money did it take to do this?
1.5 million.
Okay.
I think that you're going to have a hard time meeting with them, but I think it's certainly worth pursuing a couple of really big, obvious brands.
Who knows? Maybe by the time your film comes out, we look like a bunch of blithering idiots.
What do you think the response is going to be?
The responses mostly will be no.
But is the toughest sell because of the film, or is the toughest sell because of me?
Both.
Meaning, not so optimistic. So can you help me? I need help.
I can help.
Okay. Good. Awesome.
We got to figure out which brands.
Yeah.
That's the challenge.
When you look at like the people you deal with,
We've got some places we can go.
Okay.
Turn the camera off.
I thought turn the camera off meant let's have an off-the-record conversation. Turns out it really means we want nothing to do with your movie. Luckily, I've got an old friend in the industry who might be a bit more receptive. Richard Kirschenbaum has worked in advertising for years and has made a name for himself and his agency by not thinking like an agency. If anyone out there is going to get it, it's him.
So ultimately what we want to try and do is create what is the Iron Man of documentaries. Like the documentary that basically when it comes out has so many partners, has so many brands involved.
I love the idea that you're actually, selling out, you're admitting selling out, and therefore not selling out. And therefore not selling out.
Right.
Exactly.
And the story also is talking about, talking to the people who say this is a problem with the industry, this is wrong. But then there's people who are like, how could it be wrong? This is where we started in television, it's where we started in film.
So the film is about the marketing of movies.
Yep.
And I want to be a sponsor.
You guys can tell me better than anyone else what the kind of like, here's what we pay for these things. And so you start to see these things kind of come to fruition over the course of the film.
Right, so you're willing to sell completely personally to do this?
Whatever it takes.
Great.
So what do we do now?
I think the thing to do is go get a client.
Get one. Thank you.
Great to see you. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, thanks guys.
To get my first client, I need to understand two things: who would actually sponsor this movie, and how I'm supposed to talk to them. Britt Johnson is the president of Media Placement, one of the most successful product placement agencies in the country. And David Wales is the president of the Ministry of Culture and makes his living predicting the next big trends in advertising.
If we were going out to sell somebody to be a product or a brand in the film, what's that worth?
It depends on how many people you reach. I mean,
Dozens.
it would be.
This movie's going to reach dozens
It
of
would
people.
depend on how many people you reach.
How do I start to figure out who I should go after?
I would just go for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As long as the check clears.
Yeah, as long as the check clears.
One good thing is you might be able to get a lot of the things paid for.
That's a good question. So what are the things that we should be looking for to try and get for free?
I think maybe you might be able to get a beer brand, hotels, air service, computers, car. You definitely should have a sports car.
What about clothing?
Yeah.
Can you get clothing?
Clothing would be easy.
How do I make a company want to be in this movie?
You need to start by acknowledging that you yourself are a brand, right? What's your brand collateral? What are you bringing to the table? I guess that's what you need to figure out in terms of making yourself appealing to them.
How would you guys describe your brand?
My brand. I don't know, I like really nice clothes.
80s revival meets skater punk, unless it's laundry day.
The brand that I am is, I would call it casual fly.
If Dan were a brand, he might be a classic convertible Mercedes-Benz.
Part hippie, part yogi, part Brooklyn girl. I don't know.
Failed writer alcoholic brand? Is that something?
I think most of Hollywood has that brand covered. For me to get any companies on board, I first need to understand what I'm offering them. That's where Olsen Zaltman comes in. By using an intense form of psychoanalysis, they've helped companies like Hallmark, Nestle, and Febreze better understand what they call their brand personality.
You brought your pictures, right?
I did. The very first picture is a picture of my family.
And so tell me a little bit how it relates to your thoughts and feelings about who you are.
These are the people who shape the way I look at the world.
Tell me about this world.
This world. Well, I think your world is the world that you live in. Like the people that are around you, your friends, your family, the way you live your life, the job you do. Like all those things stemmed and started from one place. And for me, they stemmed and started with my family in West Virginia.
What's the next one you want to talk about?
The next one, this was the best day ever.
How does this relate to your thoughts and feelings about who you are?
Is like, who do I want to be? I like things that are different. I like things that are weird. I like weird things.
Tell me about the Y phase. What does that do for us? What is the machete? What pupa stage are you in now? Why is it important to reboot? What does the red represent? Tell me a little bit about that harp.
What is it about you that's not?
Is there a color that would represent me? What are some other metamorphoses that you've had?
To be fear.
What kind of roller coaster are you on? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your patience.
Great job.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to come of this. There was a whole lot of crazy going on in there.
The first thing we saw was this idea that you had two distinct but complementary sides to your brand personality. The Morgan Spurlock brand is a mindful play brand. Those are kind of juxtaposed very nicely together, and I think there's almost a paradox with those, and I think some companies will just focus on one of their strengths or the other instead of focusing on both. Most companies tend to, and it's human nature, to avoid things that they're not sure of, avoid fear, those elements, and you really embrace those and you actually turn them into positives for you. It's a neat thing to see. What other brands are like that? The first one here is a classic Apple, and you can see here too, Target, We, Mini from the Mini Coopers, and JetBlue. Now there's playful brands and mindful brands, those sort of things that have come and gone, but a playful, mindful brand is a pretty powerful thing.
Awesome. That's good. That's a good thing.
Now that I know what type of brand personality I have, it's time to figure out what other companies would want to be in business with someone as mindful and playful as myself. Time for a little brand recon.
Nothing like a cold call to show exactly how little power you have. This movie's brought to you by Apple Zings, Crisco, Kenneth Cole, Prada, Paul Smith.
Welcome to the Johnson & Johnson Company's world headquarters. Thanks for calling Target Corporation.
Ben & Jerry's, Lice Free, Carmex. This film's brought to you by B Complex.
Documentaries are not as seen as feature films. I can't do it. I'm the director of public relations for Gas. He will never put Morgan, your average Joe, on a billboard, ever.
You're making a film about that?
I am.
Okay.
We would love for JetBlue to be the official airline. What is the greatest car you could drive? Well, I think it's got to be a Ford. The Volkswagen, the Lexus Hybrid being the official car. BlackBerry phone, 7th generation. Huge fan of Blue Logs.
We got a fax from Volkswagen. It's my understanding that you discussed with our agent, DDB Entertainment International, the possibility of our involvement in an upcoming documentary film directed by Morgan Spurlock that will explore product placement in the movies. After due consideration, Volkswagen Group of America Incorporated and DDB have determined that it is not in Volkswagen's best interest to be involved in this documentary in any manner. In any manner.
Diet Coke, Levi's, Be Stupid, Diesel.
It's not something that we do. But think how great it would be, the greatest movie ever sold video game.
We're just unable to participate.
What about if in the film we had either a cowboy or an animated camel smoking your brand?
My response is, we really don't want to be in the film.
I mean, it doesn't sound like a movie that I'd be excited about going to.
Right. So why wouldn't you want to go see this movie?
It goes against everything that we do.
What if we loaded it with nudity?
Yes, that would help.
Gotta get like Indian vegetable korma, the official grandpa slipper.
I got too many other things to think about.
Can we please get Mane and Tail to be the sponsor? It's good enough for your horse. It's good enough for you. Mane and Tail. Oh, and it's the best. Oh my God. Hold on. You gotta love a product that says directions for human use, and then it says directions for animal use. Smells like a pretty horse. We're calling Mane and Tail.
Hey, Morgan, it's Richard. I've got some great news. It looks like we have a client who would love to hear your pitch. Give me a call back.
It's our first big pitch with like a real brand. Richard Kirschenbaum hooked the whole thing up with one of his clients. So, this is it. It's on. It's real right now.
I want you to introduce you to Morgan.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? I'm Morgan
Hi.
Spurlock.
Beth Jones.
I have friends who make great big giant Hollywood films, and I have friends who make little independent films like I make. And the friends of mine who make big giant Hollywood movies say that the reason their films are so successful is because of the brand partners that they have. And then my friends who make small independent films say, well, how are we supposed to compete with these big giant Hollywood movies? And the movie is called The Greatest Movie Ever Sold. And so now how specifically will we see Ban in the film? It's anytime I'm getting ready to go, anytime I open up my medicine cabinet, you will see Ban deodorant. Well, anytime I do an interview with someone, I could say, are you fresh enough for this interview? Are you ready? You look a little nervous. I want to help you calm down, so maybe you should put some on for the interview. So we'll offer, one of these fabulous scents, whether it's a Floral Fusion or a Paradise Winds, they'll have their chance. We will have them geared for both male or female, solid roll-on or stick, whatever it may be. That's the 2-cent tour. So now I can answer any of your questions and give you the 5-cent tour.
We are a smaller brand, much like you talked about being a smaller, movie.
Yeah.
We're very much a challenger brand, so we don't have the budgets that other brands have.
Right.
So doing things like this, remind people about Ban
Yeah.
is kind of why we're interested in it.
What are the words that you would use to describe Ban? Ban is blank.
That's a great question. I mean,
Ban is superior technology.
Technology is not the way you want to describe something somebody's putting in their armpit.
We talk about bold,
Yeah.
fresh. I think fresh is a great word that really spins this category into the positive versus
Yeah.
the fights odor and wetness.
Right.
It's keeps you fresh.
Fresh
How do
all
we keep
day.
you fresher longer, better freshness, more freshness, 3 times fresher, things like that that are, more of that positive benefit.
When it comes down to cost and things like that, do we have to have a sideline conversation about that?
About what things will cost in the film, or what?
Yeah, to participate.
No, we can talk about it now.
Okay, so what do you project?
We're trying to sell the above the title sponsorship, the naming rights for $1 million. All the way down to brand partners who will come in for anywhere from $25,000 to $100,000. What about concerns that you would have, or things you'd be worried about?
You have a somewhat controversial reputation. How can you assure us that it'll be done in a positive light?
Well, I think when it comes to all of the brand partners, like the way that Ban will be portrayed in the film will be, there's no way I would disparage your band because, again, at the end of the day, you are my partner.
I think that was the main concern.
Yeah, that really was.
I don't know that we have. We're pretty excited about it.
Is there a number that you guys want to hit that's like the amount you'd want to commit to something like this?
I think in that 50 range.
Yeah,
like you were talking.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Very cool. Great to meet you. Thank you.
Great
presentation.
Thank you. Oh, cool. Thanks.
Really enjoyed
Thanks,
Thank
Morgan.
you.
We're really
Thank
looking
you.
forward to it.
One down, about 15 to go. But let me just say, it smells like a brand new day.
With Ban on board, Richard thought I should talk to an old lawyer friend of his. That way I know exactly what I can promise folks, not to mention what I can and can't say about them.
Hey, Rick?
Yes.
Hi. I'm Morgan Spurlock.
Hi. Nice
Hi.
to see you.
Good to see you. How you been?
Good.
So Richard told you about the film that we're about to make, and we need some real legal advice. We're making a movie called The Greatest Movie Ever Sold. Most important question, what's going to keep me from getting sued in making this movie?
I think you'll probably be okay because the whole setup of the film establishes the context.
So I can say something's the greatest and not have issue with it?
Yes. Film can be a documentary, in which case everything should be real, and film can be completely fiction. And most commercials and most advertising is slice of life. It's completely fictional. The flip side of that, we sometimes call faction.
So wait, so what's faction?
Well, faction is when you combine documentary or factual or historical information with speculation or fiction, where you've got a mix of fact and then something that you as a director or an author writing a book really has an obligation to indicate to the audience what is the historical fact and what is the speculation in a typical work of faction.
If I say that these are the greatest sunglasses anybody could ever wear in the greatest movie ever sold, can I, on the inverse, can I say that every other sunglasses are the worst sunglasses ever made?
If you're saying everything that's a sponsor is the greatest and everything else is trash, people seeing the film are going to get that you're making a point and that it's not a personal endorsement.
So you're a very powerful attorney there in New York City. You're a partner in the firm. So how much did this hour just cost me?
My rate's $7.70 an hour. But, advertising has its value, so this is advertising for me. So the question is, how much does it cost me to be in your movie?
All the big Hollywood blockbusters have tie-ins with fast food restaurants. Cups, toys, you name it. None of those guys would call me back. But I did find one Central Pennsylvania staple who thought this could be right up their alley. They were so excited, they even flew me to their offices in their private plane.
You are out in the country. As I said, I'm a fan of Sheetz. I love Sheetz.
Are you blowing sunshine up our ass?
I am.
Okay.
In a great way.
Shameless marketing.
More shameless plugs. That's what we want to do for Sheetz. We're basically going to be traveling around talking about the impact of product placement marketing and advertising, talking to people along the way, and we're better to talk to people than at a Sheetz.
Yeah. True.
At a gas pump, I want to hear people what they think about products. What do they think about Sheetz? And again, when you're going to interview people, we want to make sure we interview people right inside of a Sheetz location. We want to sit down and have interviews with someone who... Yeah, we'll have a sandwich. Yeah. Here I am enjoying a meatball sub, talking to this gentleman, and we're talking about product placement. And so maybe we'll talk to somebody who is against product placement, who's against advertising, who's against marketing in films. We'll talk to them inside of a Sheetz.
while they have the product in their hand.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Yeah, very good. All right.
Yeah.
And for me, what I'm really excited about is to have Sheetz be the home of our collector cups. Of course, the Fleet truck for the greatest movie ever sold. There's the cup where you'll get the greatest floozy you'll ever drink right inside there. And of course, holy Sheetz, I can't believe how many choices there are. Collect all 4 at your Sheetz. See, first time ever documentary with collector cups.
They're going to be on that like a wet T-shirt.
That's right. That's big right there. That's big.
What do you think the probability of like negative press is? Is that like here's this jerk, who's making this, horrible marketing movie, with the assumption that Americans are idiots, okay? And that's what they talk about on E or something, okay? Morgan is an idiot, and he thinks all of Americans are idiots, and all the people who sponsored this film are idiots. They're bigger idiots.
Oh, wow.
What does that do to our brand?
This film will literally talk about this thing that is in front of all of us, that is literally right there every day, and bring it home in a way that just makes us think about it, makes us recognize it. And I don't think people will look at you like you're stupid, but I think people are going to look at you as like, these people were brave enough to be a part of this because they're not afraid of their brand.
Is there a plot? Or
the plot
is it just shameless marketing?
No, the plot is literally the me trying to find the people to support a film like this that talks about the topic. This is the movie right now. This is it. It's happening. Is there a base number though of what you guys are comfortable saying? We'll commit to this.
Yes. Well, 100. We had said we'd commit to 100 as a base.
Okay.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Pleasure.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Can we take these mics off?
Couldn't have gone any better than that, I don't think. Or maybe it could have.
I don't know if he was blowing sunshine up our ass, trying to get money out of us for what's going on here? I don't know, this is all about marketing, you know what I mean? Are we really friends yet? I don't know if we're friends yet.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the country, I think I may have finally found a drink sponsor. It's not Coke or Pepsi, they wouldn't call me back either. It turns out though that Palm Wonderful 100% pomegranate juice is filled with antioxidants, is apparently 40% as effective as Viagra, and is a multi-million-dollar corporation that takes a unique approach to marketing.
The way that I want to see Palm, or when we first see Palm in the movie, or find out you guys are on, is we get the call, maybe you guys are going to be in, we're going to do it, we want to be the official beverage, and so then every other beverage automatically in the movie is blurred out.
That's great.
We will never see another beverage in the movie. Every other thing will start to become blurry except for Palm. There's been all those times where there's been product placement in movies and integration. Well, we want to take it one step further, where we want to be the first movie ever to actually have 30-second commercials right in the middle of the film. And so we're going to shoot commercial spots. There'll be 3 spots throughout the film. As I said, our top 3 sponsors. The above the title sponsors and the other 2, which will have 30-second spots, of which Palm would be a great commercial. And we have some really good ideas that we could do something with that. There's no better marketer than NASCAR. NASCAR does a great job about showing their loyalty to brands, showing their partners with brand sponsorships. And one of the things that they do so well is the NASCAR suit. The greatest movie ever sold needs to have a suit. So then when I go out and go on the late night programs, of course, I'll be wearing my greatest movie ever sold suit, which of course will have a giant Palm Wonderful logo on it, other sponsor logos, covering it throughout. And so that's the end. As you can see, I'm at the end of my Palm bottle. Look how happy I am. And so we would love to have you guys be the official beverage. What questions do you guys have for me? What can I answer for you?
We're, an extremely high quality product with a real brand image to uphold.
Yeah.
How do we know that the other sponsors you're going to put in the film are compatible with that?
The brands that we want to go after are brands that I feel like really reflect what I think the movie stands for, what I stand for, doing something different, doing something innovative.
We think that you represent Palm in a way, and Palm represents you, that we're compatible together. Yeah. So that's why I'm attracted to it. The other thing is, full transparency is very important to us. And I think it's important that people know how much we spent to get in this movie, and that we actually paid for it, because why not?
Do you have any concerns?
Of course. I wouldn't be a Jewish mother if I didn't have concerns. But part of being out there and being successful is taking chances, So this is uncharted territory, which is exciting for us. Palm was uncharted territory.
Right.
So.
On your title card, it said Brand X.
the greatest movie ever sold.
Yes.
Is Brand X what you're going to put on there, or you're open to
No, it's
Palm
gonna be Palm
Wonderful
Wonderful,
be?
the greatest.
Is it going to be Palm Wonderful?
Well, I mean, it could be.
Now we're
If
getting
we
down.
make a deal.
Now we're getting down to the brass tacks. If you want to be Brand X, which I would love for Palm to be Brand X, Palm Wonderful presents the greatest movie ever sold. We want to sell the above the title sponsorship for $1 million.
So does $1 million come with a 100% complete satisfaction guarantee?
For me, yes. Talk about the amenities that Hyatt has to offer. Okay, so in the film, I'll come visit you guys and pitch you about being in the film. Have you guys ever done any product placement or anything like this? No.
So now I'd rather know what we get. What do we get?
So are you in?
We're in.
Mini Cooper, official car of the greatest movie ever sold. Are we getting 7?
Maybe I shouldn't be celebrating just yet. Even with all these brands signed on to the movie, believe it or not, Palm just won't give me the $1 million. For that to happen, I have to accomplish a whole lot of other things, like show on over 250 screens worldwide, sell 500,000 downloads and DVDs, generate more than 600 million media impressions, and make more than $10 million at the box office. And then there's what's in all the other contracts. I can only stay at a Hyatt, I have to pump gas at a Sheetz, I can only eat Amy's Pizza, I can't disparage the entire country of Germany, and I have to conduct an interview in one of JetBlue's aircraft. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
As all these contracts coming in, I'm just a bit overwhelmed, at a loss, confused. So with Palm, based on this contract, can I drink anything else in the movie?
I don't think you can, and I would certainly recommend against it because I think, again, it sort of goes, even if there's not an explicit prohibition, you've got to show some deference to this sponsor and this product.
It says we're going to give them the right to use content of the film. Do we get to decide what content that is?
Most of these sponsors are looking for sort of a reciprocal kind of quid pro quo thing where you're going to use their brands, but they do want a piece of this movie and to be able to associate themselves with the movie and with the valuable name and image of Morgan Spurlock.
They're asking for final approval of the film. Do we have to show them the whole movie?
Well, if they have final approval of the whole film, yes, you'd have to show them the whole movie.
But we don't have to. Do we have to do that, or can we just show them like pieces of the film?
This is a multinational brand, and they're very protective about how they're going to be perceived and how their brand is going to be perceived.
I feel like I'm going to lose the ability to actually have control over the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I just need you to tell me, or you tell me if I am, like, because I just want to know that I can still make the movie I want to make. Like, how much influence are they going to have over the movie?
It depends on the movie that you want to make.
At the end of the day, it's your voice, and it's going to be your reputation as a filmmaker that you have to protect, and you have to stand up for what you believe is working for the film and what isn't working for the film.
You have a couple of choices.
Okay.
One choice is to allow yourself to be co-opted a little bit. That's, you dip your toe in the water. Pretty soon you're putting your foot in the water. Pretty soon you're swimming. And you don't think you're changing. You just say, okay, I'll do a little more. You end up swimming. That's what they're anticipating. The other option is to resist and maybe end up in Montana, growing your own food.
This movie is actually documentary evidence of how fucked up marketing is.
It's shrill, it's ever present, whatever. If there was ever anything pristine about the world we live in, it no longer is, right? Because you can't go anywhere without encountering this stuff.
First thought, what's it going to do to Morgan Spurlock? And what's it going to do to the satire and the spoof? Because you can satirize and spoof yourself out of your objective. But out of this film may come a transformed, commercialized, corporatized Morgan Spurlock. And you'll never be able to shake the identity. That's your peril. Yeah. That's your challenge.
Well, have you got a pair of these?
Oh, they're giving you products too.
These are Merrells.
You're going to be completely clothed with their products.
Absolutely, and this is a fantastic shoe.
What is it?
This is a Merrell.
Merrell?
Merrells, yeah.
Where's it made?
Merrell, they're made in America.
Wow.
Yeah, right here in the good old U.S. of A.
Oh. Is it new?
They've been out a few years. Like I've had a pair of these before, and so we called them because I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's the arch support?
It's great.
And the water?
And the water's good. They make boots that are waterproof as well.
Fantastic. Where are they sold?
They're sold in like outdoor stores and
catalogs.
And catalogs. Yeah, Merrell.com at their website.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have to look at that.
Yeah. This is a good shoe.
Yeah.
Tell you one thing I'm glad of is that I'm not driving some piece of shit Volkswagen right now. Like, this car runs so good. It is like the greatest machine you could have on the road. Gets the best gas mileage. It looks amazing. How good do these cars look? Look incredible. Everybody seems to have a differing opinion.
Yeah.
Can you still have credibility once a brand gets involved?
I would argue it depends what kind of show it is. I mean, if it's like a Grammy award-winning, Emmy award-winning drama, like, you know, I don't know, ER or
Law and Order.
Law and Order, I would say that's a little more foreign. If it's more of a breezy show or a reality show, I think reality and sports, all bets are off already.
Right.
It's already off. I mean, now the question is comedies and dramas. That's the prime real estate of network TV.
What is the most egregious product placement you've ever seen?
In the last 2 years, we're seeing people say things in dialogue that was intended for the show. I couldn't have been here without Dr. Pepper.
Maybe if you stop drinking so much Dr. Pepper. We're on a road trip. Drinking Dr. Pepper is practically a requirement.
I love that Subway $5 foot long.
What can I do for you, son?
I had an extra chicken teriyaki footlong that I thought someone would be interested in.
That's really, I think, you know,
That's
like,
fantastic.
holy mother, what's going on there? No one says that. No one acts that way. And frankly,
Nobody acts that way.
No one acts that way. It's unnatural and it's forced. It's so forced that you go, oh, I'm not watching a show, I'm watching a commercial, and that ruins the whole experience.
Yeah.
Brian Steinberg may hate it when product placement is too obvious, but since I'm contractually obligated to do an interview in JetBlue's new state-of-the-art Terminal 5, I thought this would be a great place to talk to someone who thinks the bigger problem is that people don't know they're being advertised to. Robert Weissman is the president of the consumer advocacy group Public Citizen, and he's championing a radical way to differentiate advertisements from entertainment.
With product placement, what do you think should be done? In films and television?
The most important thing, especially for television, is to have simultaneous labeling that people are being hit with an advertisement at the moment they are.
Right.
So there should be some little pop-up that comes on and says advertisement. It could be a scroll at the bottom, it could be a little pop-up, whatever. At the moment people are being advertised to, they should know they're being advertised to. The advertisers in the television industry say, oh, the horror, that'd be terrible. They would create clutter on the screen.
Right.
But anyone who's watched television for between 3 and 10 seconds knows there's tons of clutter on the screen almost all the time.
Yeah.
There's the logo for the network, there's pop-up advertisements, there's emergency things going across.
Yeah.
Different programs, there's 2 streams going across and other stuff on the side. So there's already tons of clutter. If they can do clutter for advertisement, they can do a little additional piece to tell people that they're, even in the core program, being exposed to an advertisement. Wow, gosh, Morgan. Pretty clever. Thanks for flying me here for that. I guess you have more power than I thought.
While Robert may be leading the charge to get rid of product placement, another guy practically invented it. In Hollywood, if you need a car, you call Norm. If you need a beer, you call Norm. In fact, if you need just about anything, you call one man, Norm Marshall. If anyone can tell me how much influence brands are going to have over my movie, it's him.
Years ago, we represented Alka-Seltzer, and we got a call from one of our friends, and he said, hey, the director just called a shot, and he wants the character, it's a comedy, he wants the character to chew an Alka-Seltzer tablet and then foam at the mouth. We immediately jumped in the middle of it and had a direct call with the director, who immediately started giving me some pushback, and so we couldn't resolve it, so I called the transportation coordinator and said, Billy, bring all the cars back. So Billy went to the producer and said, "How did you piss off Norman Marshall?" And he says, "Well, I just was talking about this Alka-Seltzer thing. Well, he wants all his cars back." And then he calls back and says, "We've changed the Alka-Seltzer scene." So, I mean, those are the kinds of things that you can't do from Madison Avenue or whatever. And that's how fluid the industry is. I mean, it changes very
on a moment.
Yeah.
Who has more power and influence in Hollywood, writers or brands?
The individual writer on the individual show, if that show is successful, has more power than the individual brand. But overall, there is going to be a moment, and I don't think it's very far off, where the larger brands, meaning the larger advertisers, can dictate to the network the conditions under which they're prepared to advertise.
Do you guys ever recommend script changes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Doesn't always happen, but.
Right.
Thank you for calling Straight Arrow Products.
Keep a straight face.
Are you there? Hello.
Hello.
Hey!
We just wanted to get a feel for the idea of the scene and how you were going to position.
For us, the whole goal is to try and put something in there, products in there that we think that are interesting, that can be fun, that at the same time kind of represent an extension of what we're trying to make with this film.
That's good, because that's what we liked about it. Because again, the image is to keep Mane and Tail fun.
Yeah, I completely agree. And so for me, in the scene that we want to do, like, as you literally start off on a close-up of the bottle, like there's the bottle, you pull out to see, here we are in the bathtub, I'm there washing my hair, you pull out a little more, you see me washing my little boy's hair, you pull out a little more as I turn to the left, and there I am washing my Shetland pony in the tub.
There you go.
Yeah. We'll probably see a shot of it in the beginning, maybe have something in the middle where, we have a phone call talking about the placement, and then have it in the end.
Perfect. Okay, that sounds good then.
Anything else we can answer for you guys right now?
No, that was just the concern. I just wanted to hear what exactly you guys were going to be doing with it in the scenes, and that's about it. We've been a genuine company for the past 40 years.
Right.
And we do not, we just don't pay. People have fun with us, they enjoy us. We have a well-rounded goodwill between our equine business and our human side. This is truly a rare product in the fact that it's crossed over as successful as it has.
I completely agree.
And still continues to be used by horse and people. So and this is a worldwide product, so we try to keep it fun and protect it.
Well, guys, this is going to be great. Thank you so much, and I'm so glad you guys want to be in the movie.
No, hey, I thank you for taking the time with us, and I'm glad you like the product.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, guys. All right, bye-bye. Thanks.
Okay, bye. Bye-bye.
Awesome. The official shampoo of the greatest movie ever sold, Mane and Tail.
My concern is storytelling, not story selling. And I don't want to be someone who's trying to shove a product down someone's throat. I'm just trying to make people believe these characters are real.
I've never been told, have him hold it a little bit higher and get a little bit closer to his face. I've never been told that.
Until I started directing movies, I didn't realize how it worked. And then two guys in suits come down to the set with a product and like, oh yeah, you need to use this in the scene. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I haven't done that much product placement in my movies because for the most part, I've actually been usually refused. If I want to use, I think all my first scripts always had some scene that took place at a Denny's. Because I had many scenes in my early 20s that took place at a Denny's. And I was, Reservoir Dogs in the original script, the opening scene where they're all talking at a Denny's, all right? The opening scene in Pulp Fiction, Pumpkin and Honey Buddy, at a Denny's.
Yeah.
In both cases, Denny's goes, no. Truthfully, I don't ever notice it unless it's super obvious.
Yeah.
And then when it's super obvious, it becomes ridiculously obvious. And then it can break the reality.
Pardon me? Is it advertising?
Oh, fuck yeah. It's the movie business. And the game now is how cheap can you make that movie and how much profit can you make?
For a long time, people would say there's a line between art and commerce. Is that line just getting thinner and thinner?
They're still, very, very powerful and very talented artists, musically and in film, like bands like Radiohead, filmmakers like Paul Thomas Anderson, who are clearly not interested in this.
Artistic integrity, whatever. How do you tell the story that you intended to tell without compromising? Yes, there is a bit of compromise. But like I said, if there's a car in a movie, why not be a car that a brand is helping, reach your budget?
Do you think it's selling out?
To who? We're all selling out.
GE is my boss, really. Okay, they build jet engines and weapon systems and all kinds of crazy electronic appliances, and they don't give a flying fuck about art.
So we have 3 spots that we're going to look at. The first one looks at the healthful aspects of Palm Wonderful 100% pomegranate juice, where you see me right there in the middle of a pomegranate field.
There's only one problem. You can't shoot that spot because there are no pomegranates on the trees.
Did we miss the season? Isn't it
Oh,
May?
yeah.
We missed it. So this spot is called Palm on My Mind. I come out of the gym. You know, it's hot in the city. I rub my eyes. You know, as I look back out, everything in the world has just kind of like this red tint to it. As I walk down the street, I pass a donut shop where all the donuts are stacked one on top of the other. And I just kind of look at that, it's a little weird, and I walk past a fruit stand where all the apples are all stacked one on top of the other. What is going on? What kind of ulterior universe is this? Suddenly, all the women that I see, all of their breasts are like these double-stacked uniboob in the middle of their chest. I open up the fridge, there's what I want. Ah. And it's Palm Wonderful 100% pomegranate juice. Get you some. And then all of a sudden I hear, roof! And I look down, and there's my dog looking up at me with his 2 heads as he turns his heads, and then that's the spot.
It doesn't talk about our product attributes as much as, you know, the other one does.
Yeah. Plays to the icon of the bottle, but
Right.
doesn't talk about what's inside.
So this spot starts off with me popping up into the camera, and I tap onto the lens. Ding, 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 ding. And it's like literally, it's a close-up right on my face. The camera starts pulling out. And I go, psst, I want to tell you a secret. This is just between me and you, okay? But I drink Palm Wonderful 100% pomegranate juice, all right? Now, camera keeps pulling back. Now, not only is it loaded with antioxidants, but it also improves blood flow and increases prostate health. But get this, 50% of men with mild erectile dysfunction experience stronger erections after drinking it for only 4 weeks. And the camera keeps pulling back, and I say, now who wouldn't want that? And there I am standing with a giant erection. Palm Wonderful 100% pomegranate juice.
We'll be running that on TV.
Get you some.
The FDA would love that one.
This is a great campaign. This campaign on the web would get you more attention than you ever knew what to do with.
It could potentially turn off some existing customers, no?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think you could be a little more subtle about it.
From a commercial standpoint, do you want us to come up with other concepts?
Wouldn't it be interesting if we took the Minute Maid example?
Their juice has mainly apple juice. Ours is 100% pomegranate juice, and theirs is 1/3 of 1%.
Wow.
I wonder what you could do with the content Linda presented in an advertising campaign.
Yes, we would be very happy if you could.
Okay. Well, I'll go back to New York and I'll get to work on a new spot.
All right, great.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time. So, just had every idea that I went into pitch get shot down in the room, one after the other, and then had them basically tell me what they want me to pitch, which is basically their own like takedown piece of every competitor they have. See, part of this movie is, which is awesome, is getting to like see the inner workings of all this stuff happening. But the other part of it is like, at what part do I just let myself completely become a foil to, you know, do everybody else's bidding, you know? Is there such a thing as truth in advertising?
Yes. Advertisements that say they're lying are telling the truth.
Just what are some examples of like maybe the most egregious offenders of commercials or brands or products that mislead you?
Well, I have a lot in my memory, but I lather them with amnesia because they're so disgusting.
Remember how we talked about eating better? Well, it starts today.
What's deceptive about advertising is the answer that it gives to how we can be happy. The answer that it gives is that somehow products are connected to our sense of well-being and to our sense of happiness. And I think that is the kind of the ultimate lie. Because what makes us happy is not the products. What makes us happy is what the products are seen as a conduit to.
The whole spectacle is constantly telling you that you're nothing. You're nothing. You're inadequate. You're a loser. You're ugly. You're stupid. Unless you buy this thing. Now, how long does the feeling of contentment you're supposed to get from that thing, how long does that really last, assuming it even happens at all? It doesn't last. There is no such contentment. You can't really be happy, because of some purchase like that.
And so advertising tells us a great deal. Advertising tells us something very real about where people are. It's just that it's been disconnected from how to achieve it.
The truth in advertising. It's a big thing people keep talking about. Is there truth in advertising? Can we trust what the ads say? Bigger things, can you trust what regular people say? Take that fish right there. That fish is Nemo 2. Nemo 1 died in a terrible drowning accident, apparently in his own bowl, a few days ago. So while my little boy was still asleep, I came downstairs, fished him out, flushed him down the toilet, went to the pet store, got another one that was as close to the exact same color as I could recollect. Nemo 2. How long can I keep this going until my son actually realizes that it's not the same Nemo? I don't know. Truth in advertising.
Is there truth in advertising?
Yeah, I think there's some.
Truth to me, honesty, integrity, character, just be real about it. No robbery without a gun.
There's some honest advertising out there. There is. It does exist, and that's cool. But I just don't like stuff that lies.
There is definitely truth in advertising. You just have to gloss it a little bit to make people want to hear it.
When you read the labels, the ingredients labels on food products, and if you have any knowledge of what the stuff is that's in there, it's shocking.
You look at a juice bottle that says 100%. 100% what? They think it's 100% real juice, and it's not. It's only 10% juice, and they buy it and they drink it, and they think they're drinking something healthy, but it's not. That's offensive to me.
Check the label. That's what they tell us to do when we go shopping. But how much of what's on the label can we really believe?
Take this juice. Label has a giant picture of a pomegranate on it, blueberries front and center.
Must be filled with all that good stuff, right? Well, guess again. 99% of this juice is apple and grape. So how much pomegranate and blueberry is in it? Less than 1%. That's why I drink Palm Wonderful. It's 100% pomegranate juice. You'd have to drink 90 of these. That's 80,000 calories to get the same amount of pomegranate juice that's in just one of these. Check the label on that one. Palm Wonderful. Get real.
Dog got the mighty, let me tell the news. My head got wet in midnight dew. Red God, I've been down on my pen.
Morning.
Sir, good morning. Welcome to Grand São Paulo.
Thank you very much.
As a Diamond member, you have automatically an upgrade to our executive rooms.
After flying all night, I'm ready for a little sleepy time.
São Paulo is one of the largest cities in the Western Hemisphere, and recently they've done something radical, passing a bill outlawing all outdoor advertising. No billboards, no banners, no posters, nothing. Mayor Gilberto Kassab passed the bill into law, and Regina Montero, the director for urban planning of the city, was the one who originally came up with the idea.
What was the inspiration for the Clean City Law?
Houve uma conscientização cada vez mais forte de parte de toda a população de que a poluição na cidade de São Paulo era um dos seus principais problemas. E poluição significa não apenas a poluição do ar, da água, sonora, mas também a poluição visual.
A gente não via mais a cidade, né? A gente ficava lendo. Eu tento fazer coisas para mudar realmente a cidade e que a cidade realmente seja vista no mundo como uma coisa diferente, já que ela não tem uma beleza natural, então ela vai ser vista de uma forma que as pessoas percebam ela de uma forma diferente.
Diversas pesquisas foram realizadas e existe uma adesão, uma simpatia da ordem de 90% da cidade a essa lei.
Great.
Thank you very much.
So what was the city like before the ban?
Então, não, antigamente era assim, você via placa, tudo quanto é lugar, assim, até confundia muito.
Sem as propagandas, sem essas sinalizações, você consegue ver mais as árvores, você consegue tá mais claro.
Nós conseguimos agora andar, conseguindo dar foco para as coisas que nós queremos realmente ver e admirar, sem ter alguma imagem forte puxando nossos olhos o tempo inteiro.
So this is the biggest shopping street in the middle of Sao Paulo. The question is, if suddenly all the advertising goes away, how's their business been affected? So we're going to find out from some of these shop owners what's up. So how do people know about your business if you don't advertise?
Well, by internet, by mouth to mouth. There's such a, yeah.
Word of mouth?
Yeah.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth, yeah, that's it.
Did the way you advertise to get customers change from before the ban to now?
Realmente você tem que mudar toda uma estrutura de marketing da empresa. Nós trabalhamos hoje, em vez de você investir numa propaganda, de ter alguma coisa que chame mais o cliente, nós temos um trabalho de buscar de indicações.
Not one ad on that taxi. See that? There's no ads on the taxis. There's no ads on the buses. There's no ads on the buildings. It's amazing.
You might not need traditional advertising in São Paulo, but in this country, I still need to generate 600 million media impressions. To achieve that, my movie's going to need one pretty inspired ad campaign. Tony Seiniger is a Hollywood legend, having pretty much invented the blockbuster. And Peter Bemis is responsible for some of the most iconic movie posters today. If anyone can give me some of that Hollywood marketing magic, it's these guys.
Being of a certain age, I remember the greatest story ever told. You know, the story of Jesus. When was that movie made? Mid-60s, right?
Yeah.
The first exercise I went through mentally, creatively, was to go and do religious takeoffs, right? Which I think that blasphemy at least gets you some ink. Okay.
Yeah. The first comp will be you, Morgan. Only you.
I've always wanted to rip this off.
He's always wanted to rip off the Last Supper.
Always wanted to rip off the Last Supper, right? So I figured, right?
This would be you, and you've just got a big campaign.
That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
There you are. You're like this, right? You put everybody who was iconographic of commercialism as the disciples coming in on you.
So it's like the Oscar.
Yeah.
And in fact, your legs would be posed, but not so close that my friends at the Academy would sue us all.
This is you carrying the cross that is covered with stickers like a NASCAR. That's as sick as it gets, right?
Let's start with these 6, and then we'll trim from there.
Good, okay.
In terms of title treatments, these are both good ways to go.
Yes. You should think about it, talk about it, and then we'll all talk.
These should be like underground, right?
That's a great, like these, like you're talking about wild posting, like you wild post it?
Yeah.
Wild post these.
Exactly. You put those up in New York, like real street art, you know? Yeah. I mean, a studio would go, no,
I'm not touching it.
I'm not going anywhere near that.
Like, I think everything is so spot on. I mean, it's awesome. Amazing.
Well, you know, what a great client. So,
thank you.
All right.
As important and great as an iconic poster is, what's even more vital to a film's success is its trailer. Using a new technique called neuromarketing, Martin Lindstrom believes he's unlocked the secret to creating a memorable one each time.
Trailers are now more and more produced in Los Angeles based on neuromarketing. A trailer is deadly important for the survival of your movie. Now, what do you do to create the best scene Well, what you have to find out is when is the emotional peak, the highs and the lows. How do you create such an engaging story that people just have to see it? And that's exactly what's happening now. So they are typically testing 5 different trailers for each of the movies, the larger movies, and figuring out which one is most emotionally engaging, which one is creating the most curiosity, if it's a science fiction movie, which one is creating the most fear, and so forth.
Is this whole thing, because it sounds a bit crazy, but is neuromarketing evil?
It's like anything else. In the end of the day, there will be people abusing it, which is the reason why it's fantastic that you now dare to go through an experiment like this to show what really goes on.
To show how successful his technique is, Martin's putting me through a typical neuromarketing test, strapping me down to an MRI and blasting my head with commercials. Remember that scene in Clockwork Orange? It's kind of like that.
There's 3 things we're going to look at right now. One is fear, one is craving, and one is sex. Fear, craving, 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 sex.
Make you dizzy, so just sit for a minute, okay?
Like in between each one of the breaks, I would like doze off, and literally I would dream like in a commercial. Like the dreams would play out almost in like a 30-second commercial. It was kind of weird. This is my brain.
This is your brain.
This is my brain on commercials.
Right.
Let's take a look at the results. This is your brain. There's an amazing amount of brain activity going on. Did you feel like you wanted to have a Coke after the scanning session?
I would have liked to have had a Coke after
Because
the
I
scan session.
remember you actually said that as you left the studio.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you why. Take a look at this.
Okay.
So basically, the red-yellow area shows that you are highly engaged and there's a lot of activity going on. And not only that, we can see you're so emotionally engaged that something else is happening. The amygdala was also activated. This is actually an area responsible for two activities. One is fear. Another one is a release of a neurotransmitter called dopamine. And guess what? You got a release of dopamine when you saw the Coca-Cola ad. You actually wanted to have it. This is addiction. This is not anything. This is addiction. And this is really the reason why neuromarketing is happening now, because there's no way you could explain that to me when I was interviewing just after watching the commercial, right?
Yeah, no way. Do you think that by doing stuff like this, you're manipulating consumers
Well,
to
let me
make a
just
choice?
get one thing right. Advertising as a concept is manipulation.
Yeah.
But don't be fooled, because if you go into a retail store and you think you're safe, that's the point where you are most volatile or you're most vulnerable in the whole process.
Where should I be able to go where I don't see one bit of advertising?
To sleep. That's what it's coming down to. It affords no limits, and that's the nature of the commercial instinct. Doesn't know boundaries, doesn't know limits, goes into areas that should be taboo, like commercializing childhood. Corporations are raising our children. You know, McDonald's feeds them, and Disney, Time Warner entertains them. So that's becoming a world which is designed to create conditioned responses, just like Pavlov's dog.
We're told that what makes children happy are the things that corporations sell. And if we immerse kids in that from birth, then it becomes what makes them happy. It's not good enough to, say, pick up a stick and make it into a Harry Potter wand.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the real wand.
From a young age, you're buying into this identity, this stuff makes me who I am.
Right, what that does is take away from creative play. Kids are learning about the world based on what's best for corporations, and they can't be objective.
Now boarding flight 755 to Aruba.
Whoa, look at all the space.
I never had so much leg room.
Arr, looky here.
There's a TV in every seat.
Boop, 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 boop. I'm hungry. I want something to eat.
Here's a free yummy snack.
Yummy! Yum, 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 yum.
What a nice lady.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff.
Prince Dastan, have you wondered how
It's almost impossible for a film to become a blockbuster without reaching kids, specifically high school kids. And in 1989, one of the last barriers to that audience was broken. For the past 20 years, Channel One has been piping their news broadcasts into more than 8,000 schools all across the country.
First up today, the topic of bullying.
In exchange for providing free televisions for each of the classrooms, Channel One shows their broadcast for 12 minutes a day, every school day, and reaches 6 million of one of the nation's most coveted demographics. And because of that, Channel One gets to charge a premium. Each 30-second TV spot can cost upwards of $200,000, as much as a primetime TV show.
Why do you think there are commercials in there?
Well, they're all the commercials are so like, of course they would like do them for teens. Like, thank you so much for that acne commercial.
I don't really mind it because they're just pounding information into you the whole time, the whole news broadcast. So that's like a break, turn, talk to your friend for a little bit.
Like, we're here to like learn, not to buy, in my opinion.
Some writer during the late 1800s said that schools should teach you how to think, not what to think. But I think that advertising is really trying to tell you what to think, and so I don't think that should be in a school environment.
I feel like the amount of advertisement that we already have is enough. So if you added any more, it'd just be ridiculous. Like, I don't want to have our school name changed to Red Bull High.
Sure, who'd want to go to Red Bull High? But the greatest movie ever sold high? That sounds like a winner. You see, these days, every major brand is dying to get their name on a building or a stadium. And I may not be able to afford a stadium, but in the cash-strapped school district of Broward County, I may have found the next best thing.
I've been in my job for 12 years, and I swear 8 of those 12 years, we've sat down every year and said, okay, what are we cutting this year? Our school board is looking at every way to cut costs that doesn't affect the classroom as they can, and you know, it's very hard. You know, I kind of feel bad for what they have to sit there and try and figure out what to cut, because you can't make everybody happy. We're not allowed to do the outside of school buses.
Mm-hmm.
We were looking at providing all of our work vehicles with the possibility of putting advertising on them.
What's been the reasoning for not wanting to have it on the outsides of buses?
That's a state law. We would love to have it on the outside of buses, but it's the state of Florida that has said no.
Yeah, it seems like with like the school bus advertising, you'd have to advertise on a ton of school buses. Otherwise, you're hitting the same kids every day.
It has to be a message.
Right.
Well,
because like a community college is great. Go to college.
Right. They still do not want to do product.
Would it be more lucrative if it was products?
You know, if they could do their 69-cent whatever in a school bus.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then, you know, you're going to deal with the health issues and the parents that are upset that you're advertising that stuff to their kids when they're captive on a school bus.
Yeah.
You know, Tallahassee is cutting and cutting and cutting, but you need to implement this program, but we're not giving any funding to do it.
This is a law firm.
Yeah.
Metrex.
Orthodontics.
Orthodontist, very applicable to high school kids.
Call us to place your business name here for advertising. That would be my number. You know, that's pretty much it. We had some other ones up. The banner contract is a year.
I love that it's a high school where I can go get the home of the 2-for-1 tattoo.
Well, I am not sure about that one. This is truly advertising. You know, someone looks at this and they go, oh yeah, I saw these guys on the bus.
With all the banners that are around here and in the inside of the stadium, how much revenue does that generate a year?
Probably, you know, under $5,000–7,000.
Well, I think I'm gonna have to come back and get a banner.
All right, couple.
Yeah,
Fence
a couple.
line?
Yeah, I think that's a deal. We're gonna shake on that right now.
All
that's
right.
a deal.
Good. What do I send the contract to?
Yeah.
Maybe this is as big as the wrap gets.
That's still pretty big.
Yeah.
Really? So that's only $75 a month? Why do you think so many people are against advertising in school districts and in high schools and junior highs, elementary schools?
Well, because school is sacred, and school is meant for learning.
Yeah. But when you're in a school and your budgets are being cut.
Right. How are you going to make ends meet without letting people go or cutting programs? You got to be creative.
Yeah. Right there.
Right there.
As low as $75 a month.
I think it's a really great way to advertise.
I love it.
Yeah.
Great, done.
Cool.
Look at that. You're 2 for 2. We're doing great. We're doing great. We're on a roll now.
Now if I can just convince them to name our building.
Oh, the building would be the best thing ever. We're going to work on that next.
We're going to work on that.
Yeah.
So I'm David Lax, and I work with Morgan's team, and my role here is to help facilitate interaction between the sponsors and all the people involved in helping to promote the greatest movie ever sold.
This is what we're doing. This whole thing's a bit layered because we're selling the greatest movie ever sold. The the greatest movie ever sold will be selling all your products. What's good for you, good for the movie, good for Morgan, good for us. It's all great. Okay, so we set ourselves some objectives. They shouldn't be too contentious. They begin fairly robustly, I think. Build buzz for the purpose of selling tickets. The audience is no longer an audience, it is a partner in whatever communication you choose to create. The first 2 weeks in a movie are crucial. There's a lot of reasons for this. There's just more movies. There's more content. There's more things in the world now. So the cultural decay rate of ideas is much, much faster. So one of the lines that we discussed the very first time we met with Morgan and the team was don't sell out, sell up. I kind of like that. Sounds good. I'm not sure what it meant, but I liked it. We wanted to sort of extend that kind of meta-narrative down to the audience themselves and make them involved in the construction of the marketing. There's kind of a hope that when you sit down in the theater to watch the movie, you will see and understand the flip side of everything that we did to get you there, because you would have been involved in it in some capacity. Hopefully making the whole experience kind of pleasingly circular.
Well, we wanted to either name a building, or we saw the mural that she wanted to paint in her on the back court of her school, which to paint a mural there would be fantastic. The banners that she has are amazing.
I told him my school is for sale. Obviously, I said that.
And that's her district, by the way.
Yeah. You know, we love the idea of the Board of Ed, of wrapping something here. It's just, we're open to anything.
We have 12 sponsors. And if we averaged out all the sponsors and said, well, boy, each of our sponsors, you know, reaches 15 million people, that is a lot of people to reach with one viral promotion.
Since we do have a television station, since I have to pitch our education television station, which represents a wonderful opportunity maybe for the film to co-brand. We could maybe do a student film festival, or we could...
Ooh, a student film festival.
Student film festival. I thought about that idea on the way to the meeting, so that could be a way to integrate into co-brand the film with our school system.
So we're putting a sticker on our best-selling pizzas, and that's going to be a drive to web. That'll be our microsite, and we'll link up to the movietickets.com site and whatever else works out. And we're going to have a portion of the proceeds of the sales of the pizza is going to go to feeding people at a food bank.
It's really up to you if you want to do exposure on a building, which then locks you into, you know,
I think a building is one thing.
Okay.
You know, so to do a building would be great. To do, you know, a mural and some banners would be fantastic. To do the film festival would be amazing.
Morgan did film a video for us, for Everyone Who Has Flown JetBlue. You know that we have individual TVs in each seat back, so we will run the welcome video. I believe it's 4 to 6 weeks leading up to the premiere.
How do you get financing for the production?
It's being paid for by the companies. It's being paid for by sponsors.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you turn us over your sponsor list?
Maybe after the movie opens, we can talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. What I've started to realize over the course of making this film is that once you kind of open the door to being what one person said, or one person called me, which was being quote unquote brand friendly, then that door is open. You know, like the floodgates are open, and suddenly all of these opportunities, different opportunities, whether it's for promoting the film like we're trying to do right now, or it's, you know, being tied to somebody else's product, all these different opportunities that represent real difficult moral and artistic dilemmas start popping up. Here's a case in point.
Morgan, it's Ben Silverman giving you a call. I've set up a new business with Will Arnett and Jason Bateman that is focused on advertising production. And we've got a really great idea we're working on in and around the world of male grooming. We want it to be funny and capture the tone that you do so well. We've brought in a fantastic brand partner to work on it with us. Give me a call back and we'll set something up to introduce you to Will and Jason. Thanks, buddy. Bye.
How do you say no to that? What's a sellout?
A sellout is someone that has no honor and does something just for money and doesn't take anything else into consideration.
A sellout is when, well, to attain a certain level, you give up some of those principles that formed your identity to begin with.
So I'm making this film that's actually being paid for by advertisers, by companies, about advertising.
Right.
Yeah. So am I selling out by doing that?
I don't think so.
I mean, unless the point you're making is that advertising is a bad thing.
Are you doing it with integrity? And
I hope so.
And with the viewpoint of being objective, or are you doing it slanted for the side of the advertiser as a puppet doing whatever the advertisement wants you to do?
As long as you do better than they do on it, you're not, then you're buying in.
Is that right? Am I really not selling out? Or am I finally just buying in?
I was wrong to let you walk right out of my life. I was dumb to think that I could survive. I'll never love again. I'll never love again. I'll never love again.
Every sip gets you closer to Justin Timberlake MP3s. Hey. Hey to you.
Seems like pushing a product is the new standard for gauging success. Today's superstar singers pitch for perfume. Action stars vouch for vodka.
Yes.
Even America's sweetheart is the new face for a makeup company. For a filmmaker like me, this is pretty uncharted territory. And to navigate these waters, who better to turn to than one of the most successful celebrity spokesmen himself, the Donald.
Is there a difference between selling out and being a celebrity spokesperson?
Well, the question's been asked because I do a lot of different things. I'll do commercials for different companies, good companies. I did Oreo's cookies with the Manning brothers, Peyton Manning and Eli Manning. Trump.
And we're gonna be huge.
I feel if the commercial is done properly, if you watch what you're doing, it actually enhances your brand. It doesn't hurt your brand. There are some people that, as an example, there are certain singers, entertainers, that would never, ever do a commercial. I could name names, but I don't want to because I've tried to get certain songs and I could offer them $10 million to play a song once and they would turn it down. I mean, I think they're crazy, but they turn it down. But there are people like that would never partake in a commercial. I don't think they're helped or hurt, but I think they should take the money and run. You take care of yourself.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
But some musicians have done just that. You see, brands have always known that one of the fastest ways to make their products seem cool was to pair them with the hottest artists.
Ignition and may God's love be with you. This is ground control.
And today, more and more musicians are finding out just how important it can be to get their music supported by brands.
What you have now is artists partnering up with different brands to kind of get that extra push. And you do anything from liquor sponsors to cell phone companies to car companies all the way around to kind of round out the promotion of your project.
The artists are competing for impressions. If they can do commercials, if they can endorse a product, anything that they can do to get more impressions, the better.
After the Bacardi ad came out, I don't know how quickly it happened. You could physically see, like, one step away from having a line chart of, like, this is how many more people are starting to listen to your music. Licensing to the commercials and stuff, now I know just it's a good way for a lot of people to hear you, and I just want everyone to hear our music. That's all I want.
What would you never put your music in? Somebody said, we got a commercial, we're selling blank.
Our sniff test for whether or not it's all right to put a song in a commercial is whether or not that commercial is likely to make you feel worse about yourself. Is it honoring the music? And I gotta say, we have not always done this. There were times, especially early in our career, where we just needed the cash, and our songs were in some pretty gross commercials.
They had the Got Milk ads, and we never did a Got Milk ad because Dre doesn't drink milk. You know what I'm saying? It was as simple as that. It was a big check and everything, but Dre didn't drink milk, so we never did it. We was going through all kind of ideas with the manager. Our manager at the time was like, well, maybe it can be soy milk. You know what I mean? They're like, nah, it's got to be milk. So we didn't do it. You know what I mean? Because that maintains our artistic integrity of what we stand for.
Are you trying to establish OK Go as a brand?
Every band. band ever has had an identity, you know? Like, every person has an identity, and like, it's cool to have your own identity, but when you call it a brand, it's suddenly cheesy.
Would you guys be willing to do a song, create an original kind of identity anthem for the movie?
I'd love to.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Be awesome.
Does that, wait, hold on. If we make the theme for the greatest movie ever sold, does that mean that we're the greatest rock band ever to write a theme song?
Absolutely.
I started this PR firm back in 1983, and something occurred to me that we were living in wacky times.
Right.
And here was what was wacky about them. In the world we live, there's this umbilical cord between fame and credibility. So visibility equals credibility. In the world we live in, you cannot be credible unless you're visible.
And so you see what we're doing here.
Yep, I do.
What do we do?
Well,
what do I do to get the message?
Sell, sell, sell.
That's it.
The hell you think you do, son? Sell. You're in America. The path to salvation is not through being quiet and being subtle. Not in today's world. You gotta sell.
This is where you really start to see cause and effect. It is pretty amazing to see, you know, behind the curtain, like we've gotten to on this film. Now, you know, what happens from this point on, that's the real question.
Good.
You know, now the movie's gonna go out in the world. And now's the point where, you know, I start to wonder exactly how affected I'll be by everything. This is the start. This is the beginning of the whole thing. As much as the beginning of the process was the beginning of this, with what our movie's about, like this is the beginning. This is literally where it really starts.
You know our next guest from his prize-winning documentary, Super Size Me. His latest is called The Greatest Movie Ever Sold. It is brought to you by Hyatt, Palm Wonderful, JetBlue, Mini Cooper, Mane and Tail Shampoo, the Island of Aruba, and Amy's Frozen Pizza. It opens in theaters Friday. Please say hello to Morgan Spurlock. What's happening right now is in the movie.
Is actually in the film right now.
So we've actually, in a way, gone back in time.
We have. The space-time continuum has shifted completely.
This is like the inception of documentaries.
We solved all our problems with
Man, these Old Navy clothes look so good.
So here's the trailers you've done.
We did Avatar, Alice in Wonderland, Toy Story 3, and the one that This Is You right here that we're doing today.
And now the greatest movie.
So you have, a key to their brain.
Here we go. 3, 2. I'd like to welcome you aboard JetBlue Airways, the greatest airline you'll ever fly. Now that we're in the air, I'd like to tell you a little more about your flight.
Shameless whore if ever I've met one, Morgan Spurlock.
right.
Morgan Spurlock, everyone. The greatest movie ever sold opens Friday. We'll be right back.
Yep, everywhere you look these days, it seems like someone's trying to sell you something. Best I can do is just show you that it's out there. Because at the end of the day, marketing works. But maybe we all don't have to buy in. Maybe there's still a place, free from all the advertising, where we can actually think for ourselves. So go outside, take a nice long walk, find that place. And when you do it in a nice comfortable pair of Merrells.
Let's throw some rocks.
I keep it player, while some choose to play it safe. But check the resume, it's risky business in the AA. And I've been witness to this history ever since the 10th grade. We went from rock and brace to 10th phase. I twist my A-head to the side just for style. Or throw on the Gucci bucket with the fly, super fly. Wow, the Southern pride been known to shut it down. It ain't so country though, this ain't no Goma Pow. Now party people in the club, it's time to cut to
Look at this. Oh, man. Payola. Not only that, but I'll never be able to forget it. After a million steps, Morgan gave me this. Morgan Spurlock on the march. Thank you very much, Morgan, really. It's very thoughtful of you.
You're welcome.
It's hard to get shoes that fit.
And throw the deuce up in the sky just for the shutter buzz. I'm double fisted and you empty, you can grab a cup. Boy, stop, I'm just playing, let me dap you up. After 12 club like a high B. A beehive, cause not everybody buzzing around me. Could it be the way that the verses sounding came up on the ghetto boys and the underground king? Toys, I had a prom called it Pretty Brown Thing. Pink looked like root beer when the sun was shining. Known to keep a bad snow niggas beside me. Index finger on the case niggas is clowning. Not to flex, but to protect my neck like the Wu-Tang. Self-preservation is the rule when you do aim. Or getting something more sinister. You gotta be the finisher. Make it so the doctors, they can't replenish him. Such a buzz. Gon' give them some hoes, leave it alone. Triple OG status, 8 towns very own. Now party people in the club, it's time to cut a rug. And throw the deuce up in the sky just for the shutter buzz. I'm double fisted and you empty, you can grab a cup. Boy, stop, I'm just playing, let me dap you up. Now party people in the club, it's time to cut the rug.
Ron, hey man, how are you? I'm good, what's up? I'm good, so I just wanted to call you back, touch base with you and hear what you were thinking.
Okay, I think, I'm still talking about Carter. She's still not quite ready to respond yet, I don't think.
Okay.
Okay, cool, man. Because, like, the last couple things that sold for like 120, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, I know you're big time. I know that.
Can I think about something? Because I'm letting her make the decision, and it's getting hard. If you just give like 10 more seconds.
Sure.
Yeah, hold on.
Hey, Morgan. Hey, Tarsa, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about, the placement in the film. I was telling Ron we could have a card with his photograph of him painting the painting. So Ron English could be the greatest artist to ever paint.
Yeah, hang on. Maybe the greatest artist that ever lived, or greatest artist. Yeah, he wants to be the greatest living artist.
The greatest living artist. Okay, so done. It'll say Ron English, the greatest living artist, and he'll be the only person in the credits that'll actually have a photograph of him.
Cool.